We're going to have an invocation. If you could and would stand for an invocation, and please remain standing for the pledge to the flag. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we gather together here today with the intent of doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us the task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by our understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve the respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all the matters before us today. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm showing 9 o'clock with the regular public meeting, Henry County Board of Commissioners, Tuesday, October 1st, come to order. Does somebody move that we accept the agenda as published?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3?
Second.
Second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, lift your right hand. Now we would like to present a proclamation for the Retired Educators Day, and our staff, Melissa, will read it. Thank you so much. Do we have anybody here who's going to receive it? Good. At the right time, we're going to come up and get a picture when we present it. Will that work for y'all? Good job.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. This is a proclamation in recognition of Retired Educators Day. Whereas the Governor of the State of Georgia has proclaimed the day of Sunday, November 3rd, 2013 as Retired Educators Day in Georgia, and whereas there are more than 103,000 retired educators in Georgia, with more than 23,000 of them members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association, and whereas the retired educators of Georgia donate thousands of hours of volunteer service hours and make invaluable contributions to the welfare of their respective communities within their school systems, churches, and civic organizations, and whereas locally, retired educators meet monthly and perform many hours of community service, including hosting a toy drive every December for the benefit of the Department of Family and Children's Services of Henry County, and whereas it is appropriate that a day be designated for citizens to both honor and express their appreciation for the contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make for the betterment of society. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the day of November 3rd, 2013, be recognized as Retired Educators Day in Henry County, during which time we encourage all citizens to honor those who have dedicated their lives to the education of our youth and recognize the contributions those retired educators continue to make in our community. This day, October 3rd, this first day of October, 2013.
Very good, thank you. Let's get a photo op picture, please. Next, we'll have a presentation of the State Certificate Award from the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Billy Grogan. I'm the Chief of Police with the Dunwoody Police Department, and I'm here today representing the Georgia State Law Enforcement Certification Program. I'm also a fourth Vice President of the Georgia Chiefs, and I'm excited here today to present this award. If you'd indulge me for a few minutes, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the state certification program. Certification is a progressive and time-proven way of helping law enforcement agencies review and improve their overall performances. The foundation of certification lies in the development of standards containing a clear statement of professional objectives. Participating agencies conduct a thorough self-analysis to determine how existing operations can be adapted to meet these objectives. After the policies and procedures are in place, a team of trained assessors verifies that applicable standards have been successfully implemented. The process culminates when the Joint Review Committee determines that the agency has met the requirements for certification. Certification status represents a significant professional achievement. Certification acknowledges the implementation of policies and procedures that are conceptually sound and operationally effective. Benefits of certification include confirmation that the agency practices are consistent with progressive professional standards, greater operational and administrative effectiveness, enhanced understanding of agency policies and practices, greater public confidence in the agency, recognition in the field of outstanding achievement, reduced liability potential, and greater governmental and community support. The agency certification program identifies standards that are felt to be essential to the efficient and effective operation of law enforcement agencies. Participating agencies are expected to implement all applicable standards. Some standards do not apply to all agencies, and waivers may be obtained in certain circumstances. The standards provide a detailed blueprint for professional law enforcement. They are credible, realistic, flexible, effective, and under constant review. The standards incorporate contemporary professional thought and practices in Georgia law enforcement, and if followed, ensure the goal of increasing the effectiveness and efficiency of the agency seeking certification. The Henry County Police Department has completed 5 of the 6 steps in the certification process. The amount of time an agency takes to complete the process varies depending on the amount of work that needs to be accomplished and the time that can be committed to the task of drafting and implementing new procedures. The steps of the certification process are application, policy development and compliance, assessment, joint review committee, award ceremony. Only step 6 remains, which is the ongoing compliance monitoring. As you can see, state law enforcement certification is earned by a law enforcement agency that prepares and follows policies, procedures, and the process I have described. These are considered best practices for Georgia law enforcement. Of more than 700 law enforcement agencies in Georgia, only 103 agencies have achieved this status. By presenting this award, the Georgia State Certification Program recognizes an agency for doing the right things and doing things right. State certification shows that the Henry County Police Department has illustrated professionalism in law enforcement. To achieve state certification, the Henry County Police Department had to meet 129 standards covering 8 areas essential to effective law enforcement. These standards provide a blueprint for professional law enforcement. The standards also incorporate contemporary professional thought and practices in Georgia. These high standards ensure meeting the goal of increasing the effectiveness and efficiency of Georgia law enforcement agencies. Additionally, proof of compliance with these standards must be provided to state certified assessors that make an on-site visit to the agency seeking state certification. All standards that are not waived must be met. The assessor's report is then reviewed by the Joint Review Committee that is made up of representatives from other law enforcement agencies. The Joint Review Committee must approve the report before the agency can achieve state certification. The Henry County Police Department received state certification 3 years ago, and this is their first recertification. And I highlight that to let you know that sometimes it's easier to get certified than it is to get recertified, because when you get certified, you just establish the correct policies and say, we're going to do this. But when you get recertified, then you have to actually prove that you are actually doing this, and the Henry County Police Department did this. At this time, it is my pleasure to present Chief Keith Nichols with this plaque recognizing this important achievement. I'd also like to present a plaque to Officer Joseph Hensley, the certification manager, for his diligence and commitment to the state certification program.
Next, we'd like to have a presentation of services, years of service presented to Vince Farrer. Was Melissa going to do a little? We're going to recognize Vince, and I'm going to keep this short. 25 years of service. Give a little background. I owe Vince a lot. Back when I was Mayor Hampton for many, many years, he was with the county then, and he treated all our citizens with utmost respect, and he stayed to drill, and he's still with us today. Now, the most significant part in '05, I was the executive. I'm sorry. I don't have to start over, do I? Okay. The most significant part, when I was the executive assistant to the board back in '05, we had just moved into the state-of-the-art animal control facility that was built by Splosh 3. And for some unknown reason, the Department of Agriculture came down and quarantined the whole place. So Jason Harper, who was the chairman at the time, gave me another interim job to be the interim animal control director. It was a mess. I mean, it's just, I don't know exactly what took place, but it doesn't matter. And I can tell you, Vince went well beyond the call of duty, and Vince cleaned the place up. And I think without him, I can tell you, I'd still be the animal control director over there trying to clean this mess up, but he did it in 2 months. And I just, my heart goes out for him, and he's been an excellent employee, and he's had some physical strokes, and I'm just going to tell you, for some of the stroke he had, 90% of the people die. And Vince is still with us. It's just one of these rare things. So the maker is not through with him yet, and I hope that when I leave, if I leave in 4 years, he'll still be here representing. But Vince, on behalf of the Henry County citizens, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
I'll keep my speech short, too.
Keep it short.
Thank you.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I knew that was coming. He's a man of no words. Next, we have a request to appear before the board, Mr. Steve Richardson. If you would, state your name and address for the record, and you've got 15 minutes.
Steve Richardson, 207 Wind Drive, Hampton, Georgia. Go over what we went, quick review of last time. We went over the federal laws that preempts the counties from doing some of the pricing as it relates to routes and services or record services. Today I'd like to go over some of the laws from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. The definition of a motor carrier, a commercial vehicle, means any self-propelled or towed motor vehicle used on a highway in interstate commerce to transport passengers or property when the vehicle, number one, has a gross vehicle weight rating or gross combination weight rating, or gross vehicle weight or gross combination weight of 4,536 kilograms or 10,001 pounds or more, whichever is greater. So that in itself makes a tow truck, any apparatus, a commercial vehicle. With that said, and follow up, the United States Department of Transportation and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has established a policy for DOT numbers. Companies that operate commercial vehicles transporting passengers or hauling cargo in interstate commerce must be registered with the FMCSA and must have a DOT number. Also, commercial interstate hazardous materials carriers who haul quantities required to have a safety permit must register for a U.S. DOT number. The U.S. DOT number serves as a unique identifier when collecting and monitoring a company's safety information acquired during audits, compliance reviews, crash investigations, and inspections. Some states require U.S. DOT numbers. In select states, all registrants of commercial motor vehicles, even interstate and non-motor carrier registrants, are required to obtain a U.S. DOT number as a condition of vehicle registration. So in other words, before they're even registered, they're supposed to have DOT numbers. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, and so on. So what it's saying here is the state of Georgia, if you have a commercial vehicle, you have to have a US DOT number, and you're supposed to have it before you can get your registration for that vehicle. In this county, there's a record service that has been out of service since 2007. I don't know if you can see it, since 2007. Since that time, they have reapplied under a different name and are still not authorized. Again, you're supposed to have a DOT number before you can register your vehicles. United States Supreme Court in the City of Columbus versus Ours Garage and Record Service, Justice Ginsburg delivered the opinion of the court. Federal preemption prescribes relating to motor carriers contained in 49 U.S.C. 14501C, which is what we talked about last meeting, specifically saves the state safety regulatory authority, which is what you guys can, safety and insurance is what you can monitor with respect to motor vehicles. This case presents a question whether the state power preserved may be delegated to municipalities, permitting them to exercise safety regulatory authority over local tow truck operators. Skipping some of the legal mumbo jumbo, tow trucks, all parties to this case agree, are motor carriers. So it's clear that tow trucks are motor carriers. However, for some reason in this county, the county attorney clearly says that we don't have to have a DOT number to be on the roads in this county. She said that's interstate and not intrastate. However, Your Honor, if you'll look at the paperwork that I gave you, you'll clearly see that this is an intrastate DOT number, which is out of service. The MCMIS out of Washington clearly states it's out of service for drugs and alcohol abuse. Today I have with me Sergeant Smalley, Keith Smalley from the Motor Carrier Compliance Division from the state of Georgia, to answer any of your questions or to verify that what I'm telling you here and what the paperwork here is correct.
Morning, gentlemen. I'm Sergeant Small with the Department of Public Safety of the Motor Carrier Compliance Division. And Steve asked me here if I could just answer any kind of questions or maybe clarify or even put into layman's terms some of the federal laws that Georgia upholds.
Okay, you got 15 minutes.
Okay.
Now, we're asking you if you got any questions as to the validity of this paperwork here in the state laws. Because basically, if this record service causes an incident in this county, the county's at risk. Because the county knows and has known for some time they don't even have a DOT number. And they're a chameleon company, which is also against federal regulations. You can't change your name to get another DOT number because you lost your other one. So that's why Sergeant Smalley's here, in case you have any questions, you want to verify the validity of any of this.
Basically, the FMCSA has just adopted a law that against companies changing names, or what they call jumping ship, and going to different DOT numbers. That's something that they have just recently enacted so we can enforce it. Basically, what Steve was saying is that the company has, if they're a motor carrier, has two options to file for an interstate, which is a U.S. DOT number, or they can file for an intrastate DOT number, which is the state of Georgia. Since they meet all records meet the qualifications for a commercial vehicle, then they are required to have at least one of the two. If they travel just in the confines of the state of Georgia, then they would just get an intrastate, a Georgia DOT. Makes it easier for them. They know they're not going to cross state lines. So basically, they have to have the DOT number to be in compliance with, like he said, to get your registration or anything to do with the business. We check that first, and if we stop them, they don't have operating authority, what we call operating authority, then that's actually a violation, and they can be fined or shut down. If they're operating under an out-of-service order, then that becomes a federal jurisdiction, and we relinquish that over to the federal DOT, and they actually step in and start handing down some bigger fines and shut the company down. But basically, if they're operating without a DOT number, just in a nutshell, they're operating in violation of the Georgia state laws. Do you have any questions I could answer for you?
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Next, we have the consent agenda. First one would be a resolution requesting acceptance of a Criminal Justice Coordination Council grant for juvenile court. Have a resolution here. A resolution to accept a grant award of $100,000 from the State of Georgia Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Coordination Council, Governor's Office of Children and Family. And it indicates that in this resolution, it says the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, CJCC, has awarded Henry County Juvenile Court $100,000 to implement and expand community-centered evidence-based service award. This Board of Commissioners is not required to match any funds. So unless somebody wants to take it off the agenda, I'm going to move to the next consent agenda item. Moving to the next consent agenda item, a resolution requesting acceptance of the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant. We have a grant here, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners to accept the Edwin Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant in the amount of $24,771 to be used to purchase traffic investigation equipment. Basically what this is, it said the Henry County Police Department Traffic Investigation Unit responds to all fatalities and serious injury accidents. Upon multiple investigation and outdated equipment consisting of mapping stations, mobile data terminals, and software, etc., it said the creation of approximately 25 additional man-hours resulting in delays for prosecution and waiting for loved ones. The Henry County Police Department is requesting funding to close the service gap between the current accident reconstruction means and that to which they are capable, if not for lacking funding. Whereas the Traffic Investigation Unit applied for and been awarded $24,771 from the Edwin Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant to be used toward the purchase of Hyper SR Network Rover Kit. A lot of number of numbers identifying that as well. Said the new GPS mapping system will aid the investigation for completion. If that's, no one wants to take that off the agenda for discussion, will somebody move that we accept the consent agendas as published?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved. Thank you. Moving on, Henry County Superior Court, have a resolution approving of an independent contract agreement for drug treatment counseling service. If y'all would present this and just state your name and position.
Kia Phillips, Henry County Superior Court Drug Court Coordinator. Good morning, Mr. Commissioner and fellow board members. The drug court has decided to change the outside consulting service it has used in the past to provide drug treatment counseling service to drug court participants. On September 3rd, 2013, the Board of Commissioners indicated a preference to utilize an independent contractor rather than create a position for an in-house counselor. The contract amount is going to be $40,500, and all payments to fund this agreement will come from date funds.
Anybody have any questions? I only have one comment. I want to make sure that when we do this, this is the intent of the board, is we make sure that if and when the date money expires, we don't end up with a full-time county employee that we have to put in a place to where we don't have a position to put them. So this is why the board, it's an excellent program, obviously, and we want to participate. We want to accommodate the judicial system to have full-time people. But we're also, in being very protective of our financing, is if the date fund ever ceases, then we don't have to continue this. So having said that, anybody got any questions? If not, I would seek a motion to authorize, approve the resolution that's in before you. We have a motion from District 5, second from District 2. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, under Public Safety, resolution requesting acceptance of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety Grant. Major Goen.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners. This resolution is to accept the Governor's Office of Highway Safety Heat Unit Grant in the amount of $54,400. The Heat Unit, also known as the Highway Enforcement of Aggressive Traffic. This unit enforces DUIs, speeding, aggressive driving laws, primarily to educate the citizens on the importance of occupant safety. The unit has 1 sergeant and 3 officers. Our Heat Unit has won the Heat and DUI Task Force Unit of the Year for the last 5 years in a row. This grant for $54,400 will fund 40% of the salaries and benefits for 1 officer and 1 sergeant. Henry County would be responsible for the other 60% of the salaries and benefits, along with 100% of the cost for the other 2 unit members. Also, I'm sorry, sir?
I'm sorry. I thought you was through.
No, if you have a question, I can
No,
answer.
sir, I'm just going to put the money amount in there that you just said.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Also, the grant pays for 40% of the cost for telecommunications and radar and laser recalibration. And, of course, Henry County will be responsible for the other 60%. Now, the local cash match for this grant would be $81,600, and these funds have already been allocated in this current year's fiscal budget.
That's all I was going to say, the $81,000. Anyway, does anybody have any questions for Major Goen? If not, does somebody move we approve the resolution in the book is published?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You'd never know the federal government was shut down, would you? I thought I'd throw that in there. Resolution requesting approval of funding needed for emergency repairs of a fire engine. Chief.
Good morning. This request is for the emergency repair of a 2001 Ferrara fire apparatus. It's a pumper, an engine, and we are repairing a transmission on that truck, actually replacing a transmission and reflashing the memory on the transmission for a total of $11,955.34.
Anybody have any questions on this emergency repair? If not, would somebody move to approve the resolution as published?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Person Department, resolution requesting award of an annual contract for the rental of uniforms and miscellaneous facility services. Mr. Rod Gray.
Thank you. Good morning. As stated, this is a request to approve an annual contract for the rental of uniforms and miscellaneous facility service items for various departments within the county. The recommendation is to award a contract through the U.S. Communities Government Purchasing Alliance to Cintas at a total estimated cost of $35,539.40. These funds are currently budgeted in the department's budgets that rent these uniforms. The co-op was founded by groups such as NACO and NIGP and is currently endorsed by the ACCG. And as stated, the recommendation is to award this contract to Cintas for a 1-year agreement with 2 mutually agreed upon extensions.
I see all the paperwork associated with the bid, and I'm probably missing this, but I cannot find the resolution. Did it get left out of the book?
It may have, sir.
Have you got enough copies for? Okay, this was left out of the book, so we're going to take a moment, and I'm going to let the board speed read this, because unless y'all got it in your book, I don't have it in my book. If the board doesn't feel comfortable with this, we could, an option would be to table it if the board didn't feel comfortable with this. I feel very comfortable with it because it has all the data associated with it. It's just
I'm sorry for that omission, sir.
No, I think we've only got two more.
Rob, how many people bid on this?
This is not a bid. This is a cooperative price agreement. It's similar to a state contract, but it's a national purchasing co-op. So the original bid came from a school district in Mason, Ohio, and U.S. Communities added it to their cooperative purchasing agreement, and we are a participating member in the U.S. Communities Purchasing Co-op.
So based on the annual estimated usage, it would cost us probably $35,539.40.
That's based on our current users, but that could go up or down depending on the staffing levels in the departments and the departmental needs.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, does somebody move that we approve the resolution that we just read? Have a motion from District 2. Second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move down to Technology Services, the resolution requesting approval of renewal, the Microsoft Volume License Agreement. Mr. Andy Dobbs. Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, what you have before you is a resolution to renew the Microsoft Volume License Agreement for a 3-year period. The current contract has, in fact, expired as of yesterday, and as you may know, Microsoft Software really runs most of the county software infrastructure, as it does most companies in the world, really, and we really can't run all your desktops, your servers, all the networking software interacts with Microsoft software. So this is bought off of a state contract, and you have those that contract in your exhibits. This year, the state provided us multiple vendors, and we got quotes from those vendors, and we just, since it's a state contract, we picked the lowest of those quotes and had a review by purchasing as well. The company is named SHI. You have their quote in the exhibits as well. Also behind that, you would have the signature documents to enter into this agreement. The amount of the contract is $210,789.40 per year for each of 3 years. So $630-something thousand over a 3-year period. That is an increase from the last contract, which was right at $188,000 per year. And if you'll notice on the document, there was a note from the finance director about the increase, and what he and I discussed was I have identified in the budget, in the current year budget, a savings that we will offset this increase with, so we're still managing to the budget number that you approved.
Anybody else have anyone have any questions? If not, does somebody move to approve the resolution in the book as published? Have a motion from District 5, second from District 2. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to take this latitude. I just got a message from the HUD coordinator for the state of Georgia, and it just says, as you may know, the federal government spending authority expired at midnight. Therefore, most HUD programs have been temporarily interrupted, and most HUD employees have been placed on indefinite. So I'm just saying this for the staff. I know we do a lot of work coordinated with HUD. So that's kind of like a public announcement that just come through that most of these people will not be at work. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the resolution requesting authorization to sell surplus property located adjacent to 35 Mills Road.
Morning, Chairman, board members. Yes, sir. We, at a previous meeting, we did abandon and declare surplus a strip of property along Mill Road in front of the Yuki Steakhouse. The request today is to authorize the sale of this declared surplus property that adjoins 35 Mill Road. This area that has been declared surplus is 2,075 square feet, or 0.048 acres, which we have an exhibit marked with Exhibit A that shows that strip. Mr. James Kim of Unico USA Corporation, or AKA Yuki Japanese Restaurant, has made the request to abandon and declare it surplus so that he might purchase this remnant. We have had it appraised. That appraised value is $5 per square foot, which equates to $10,375 for that area of 2,075 square feet. In the resolution, you'll see the method of which allows the disposal of that property or the sale of that property, which is what we're asking for today.
Anybody have any comments? The only comment I would make, how we got in this situation was, I'm going to say, legitimate. Back several years ago when they realigned Mills Road, Mills Road used to come in close proximity to where the Japanese restaurant is, if you know where that's at, over at Golden Corral and Sam's. It's that new one. Well, when they shifted, you correct me if I'm wrong, they shifted Mills Road out to the west.
Correct.
Well, when they did that, Mills Road used to go further to the east with a little wiggle, and then when they realigned it, they straightened it out. So the developers, when they came in there, they with misinformation assumed that the right-of-way was from where the new right-of-way was, and they encroached like 10 or 12 feet and built something. So having said that, they have asked that that's a good thing you're doing here. Would you be kind enough to show them where the roadbed used to go? And then show them how far it shifted over out to the west?
Yes, sir. if you'll notice this line here, this curved line over here, this curved line here was the right-of-way line before. If you'll notice, that curved line does not line up with the center of the existing road now. So the center of the old road used to be somewhere along in here and parallel to that line. So when we realigned the road shifted to the west, as the chairman described. So we have, from the center of the road over here, we retained, even after this strip, we still have over 60 feet of right-of-way from center line over here. So the road moves significantly to the west. So this strip in here is really no longer of any benefit for me to operate our public roadway in it.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any additional questions? Well, I don't.
I need to add that the buyer would pay all expenses of the closing cost.
Okay, got you. We have a motion to accept the resolution in the book published from District 2.
Second.
We have a second from District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved. We have another one here, resolution requesting approval of the resurfacing project of Hood Street with reimbursement by the City of McDonough. Mr. McMichael.
Yes, sir. When the construction of the parking deck was done or located in McDonough at the corner of Hood and Lawrence, it was anticipated that when those trucks bringing in those heavy precast members that were used in the construction of the project would probably likely cause either pavement cracking and failures on Hood Road. In addition to that, when that facility was built, there was an existing drainage system that was undersized and in just terrible shape, which had to be replaced, which involved crossing Hood Street with new pipes, and then the new pipes would run parallel to the road along most of the frontage of Hood Road there in front of it. The plans call for a sidewalk, so in order to facilitate sidewalk, we elected to put curb and gutter in there. There was a ditch, so we put curb and gutter and sidewalk, made it a lot easier, took up less room. So curb and gutter was placed in that area as well. When it was placed, it was lifted about 1.5 inches to facilitate the street resurfacing or the street resurfacing. The city then requested that when we come out and do that, instead of just paving that short section in front of the parking deck, that the whole road would be resurfaced, and if we would be willing to do that, they would pay for the materials, the full length of the entire road as well as in front of the parking deck. The county would furnish the labor and equipment. So that was the agreement, and this resolution would authorize us to buy the asphalt, rock, tack, and rental trucks, at which time McDonough will reimburse us for all of that cost. So the net effect to the county is no money for those items.
Does somebody move we adopt a correction, approve the resolution in the book and the total cost of material that we will be reimbursed by the City of McDonough, $17,682.81.
So moved.
Have a motion from District 2. Second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board Chairman.
Community Development, we have a resolution requesting approval to create a CDBG specialist position. Mr. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning. As stated, the CDBG program proposes to create the position of a CDBG specialist as a permanent position with benefits for full-time employment at class specification grade 18. The position will be paid entirely through the CDBG grant, as is the CDBG coordinator position. Staff does recommend that the position be filled with the understanding that it is grant-funded and contingent on the continued availability of CDBG funds. The CDBG specialist will work under the direction of the CDBG coordinator. The responsibilities will include monitoring subrecipients to ensure compliance, conducting site visits, providing technical assistance to subrecipients, identifying eligible projects, and providing financial management to subrecipients. Of the urban county entitlements in the state of Georgia, Henry County is most similar to Cherokee County. In Cherokee County's in the 2013 allocation, Henry County is allocated $971,360, and Cherokee County is allocated $975,232. Cherokee County currently employs 3 staff persons to administer and manage its CDBG program. Again, of all the urban counties, we most closely are similar to Cherokee County in its grant allocation as well as population. The CDBG coordinator being my position, this position would work under the direction of the coordinator to be more hands-on with the subrecipients, allowing the coordinator the necessary time to conduct paperwork and reportings required by HUD, also to attend meetings at HUD, and also to be on site for construction projects that are just starting. Our first construction project started earlier this month. There are Davis-Bacon law requirements and other federal labor standards that must be met. An additional person will assist to be on site to ensure that all compliance is met. It's very tough to be in 2 places at one time to fulfill all required deadlines and ensure that federal compliance is met in the field.
And salary for this position?
Yes, sir. At the grade of 18, the starting salary, I believe, is $39.
The only question I have, it indicates here that the specialist position will be paid through the Community Development Block Grant as an eligible program administrative cost. Now, does this mean that they will pay all the benefits too, like major medical?
Yes, sir.
They'll pay major medical, they'll pay workman's comp?
Yes, sir.
They will pay everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Anybody else have any questions? If not, somebody move we approve the resolution as published.
So moved.
Have a motion from District 5. Any second? Second for District 2. Any further discussion? I think we'd already talked about this previously, adding this position, I think. You might correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we determined that we did have a need for it. So having said that, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move down to resolution requesting authorization to surplus and sell a wrecked transit bus. Mr. Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On March 28th, 2013, Transit Bus 7942 was involved in an accident. This is a 2009 Ford Goshen 16-passenger bus. Fleet Services received quotes from 2 vendors for repairing this bus. One was $22,600. The second one was $12,133. Federal Transit Administration provided funding for 80% of this particular bus and local funds of 20%. Fleet Services also conducted a search and determined that the Blue Book value of this bus right before it was wrecked was $19,130. The useful life on these vehicles is 100,000 miles or 5 years. This bus was has 9 months of useful life in it, and the mileage on this particular bus was less than 16,000 before it could be retired. We do recommend surplusing this bus and auction it off, please.
Anybody have any questions? We have a resolution in the book to approve declaring this a surplus. Is somebody move in that direction? Have a motion from District 2. Second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved.
Thank you.
Next, we have a resolution requesting authorization to eliminate a position and replace it with a position of plans examiner in the building inspection department. Derek Sorson, the new building director. This is the first time you appeared before us, right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. The request before you this morning is to eliminate the Chief Residential Combination Building Inspector position and replace it with a Plans Examiner position. As you may know, the Chief Residential Inspector retired on September 20th, and the distinguishing duty for this position was to exercise supervisory control over subordinate residential inspectors. The department currently has one full-time residential inspector, and we are in the process of hiring part-time residential inspectors. So there's no longer a need after the reduction in force to have a supervisor at the residential inspector level. Also, the department scored poorly during the last ISO survey conducted in May of 2011 for plan review staffing. For commercial plan review staffing, we scored a 3.94 out of 9 points, and we achieved 0 points for residential plan review staffing. The creation of this position will contribute significantly to improving that score during our next audit. The plans examiner will also, yes, sir.
Can you explain what the ISO rating is or the inspection is?
Yes, sir. The ISO building department, building code effective grading schedule survey is conducted every 5 years on building departments. A similar survey is done for fire departments. The distinguished difference between fire department and the building department are our scores. Our rating is permanent for the buildings built during the period that we were scored for, whereas the fire department, if we construct another fire department, purchase new assets, can improve the score for the community, the surrounding community immediately. Our rating was around close to 7 for commercial structures built in the county, and we achieved a rating of 9 for residential. 10 is the highest, and with the rating, the higher the rating, the higher the risk. So we want to achieve a low rating. Now the scores, it's an inverse relationship here. We want a higher score, we'll lower our rating. So my plan is to posture the department for our next ISO survey.
Why was our score so low in 2011?
It's a combination of things. They look at permit activity, staffing levels for inspectors, plan reviewers, qualifications of the staff, of the building official, the workload, and they break it down by discipline, and they separate it residential and commercial. And scores are given for building, electrical, plumbing, and mechanical disciplines. It's a very thorough rating, but my job as coming into the department is to help improve that as we move forward. Yes, sir.
You know, kind of touching off of what Commissioner Holmes was talking about, it looks like on the residential side it was a 0, or is that a typo? It said 0 out of 9.
That is correct.
I mean, we didn't even get the points for signing the form or anything?
We weren't issuing too many permits for residential residential
No, sir.
in 2011,
The
right?
current plan review process for residential is limited. And to achieve a better score, we need to be reviewing the residential plans for structural integrity and the individual disciplines, electrical, plumbing, mechanical.
So does
and
that mean
so
it
forth.
was not occurring?
That is essentially what it's saying, is that our building code enforcement is ineffective for residential on the plan review side. We did score significantly better for the field inspection part, but I would submit that it's more important and it's more cost-effective to catch errors on paper than it is to catch errors in the field. And I think if we transition into that, working with industry over time, it'll improve our situation and our service levels as well.
Well, Derek, you got the opportunity to look like a rock star. I mean, coming from zero, there's a lot of room for improvement, it seems. So thank you.
Anybody have any discussion? No further discussion or question? If not, will somebody consider the resolution in the book is published?
So moved.
We have a motion from District 2. Second from, correction, we have a motion from District 3, second from District 2. We still have a quorum. Commissioner Mullis stepped out, so we still have a quorum, so we can still vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think this would be an ideal time to announce that you notice that Commissioner Bowman is missing. Him and his wife are celebrating their 47th wedding anniversary. He called me the other day and he's in Hollywood, so I guess they're in Hollywood. So that's why his absence today is celebrating his 47th wedding anniversary. Having said that, next on the agenda, requesting approval of a streetlight district. Ms. Matthews, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. The request before you this morning is a request to approve the creation of a streetlight district for Phase 1 of Bella Landing subdivision, which is located off of Highway 138. The developer has requested through Snapping Shoals EMC to have permission to actually have 42 lights erected within Phase 1 of the development. Right now, Phase 1 consists of 107 lots, and based on the calculation and the placement of the lights provided by Snapping Shoals EMC, each property owner will be assessed yearly a rate of $56.52. Planning staff has reviewed the request and is recommending that the board authorize the chairman to sign all contracts associated with the creation of this streetlight district. This subdivision is located in District 4.
The only question I have, that property owner yearly assessment is $56.52.
Yes, sir.
How long is that good for?
That is for the entire time. So every year, at the end of the year, this assessment will be assessed to the individual property owner through their property taxes. So it's forever.
The reason I make that a point, if you recall, we have lots of them. That's at $21 a year, $22 a year. It's hard to believe that electricity went up that much in the last 10 years, but so if it takes 56, 52 yearly to make money, then they're probably losing money on $21 a year.
Absolutely.
I just threw it out. Anyway, we have a resolution in the book that somebody consider approving it. Have a motion from District 2, second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I looked everywhere. Do we have anybody signed up for the? Nobody. Chairman and commission comments. Anybody, one of the commissioners like to make a comment at this time for any reason? Okay, District 2.
Several things, just real quickly, is that I know that just continuing on some of the things I've talked about in previous months, I've now got with the county attorney some of the a proposal about the bylaws for the airport advisory committee, so I'm hoping that's making progress and we can continue to move forward with that. And the second thing is that we happy to report that obviously building permits are much better than they have been in the past. I know in my own neighborhood there's lots of construction going on, so that's a good thing for the community. But as a commissioner, I had a good meeting with our chairman last week, and I mentioned that I'd just like to make sure we don't repeat some of the mistakes some of our predecessors made. And as part of that, maybe we ought to reevaluate R2, R3, and other things just to make sure that we firm up things, because I know it's a matter of time before we start seeing more and more requests in front of us. And I'm just happy to report that things are going good in Henry County right now. It's good to be building again.
Thank you. District 3.
Chairman, just like to let everybody know, I don't know if you noticed if you rode through McDonald, but we've got an invasion of scarecrows up in the square. So if you hadn't had an opportunity to visit up there, my understanding this morning that our Superior Court has actually entered the contest as well. So if you get a chance to get up there and walk around and cast your vote for your favorite scarecrow, they're going to be announcing the winners on October the 19th at the chili cook-off. So come up there and get a bowl of chili. And also, the Henry County Fair starts tonight. So come out and support the Kiwanis. They put a lot of money back into the community. So I just wanted to share those. Thank you.
Anybody else? County Manager, everything that you'd like to open up with today?
Just wanted to clarify, just kind of follow up on the point you made concerning the federal government shutdown, and just to ensure the board and the citizens that in regards to our federal, the CDBG program, it will not be adversely impacted at this time. The 2012 allocation will continue to move forward. We have received a notification from the regional, the local HUD representative stating that the financial systems will remain in place. So I just want to ensure the board that everything moving forward with the CDBG program will continue to move forward. It may have some delays on the 2013 allocations that have been recently approved, just depending on the duration of the shutdown itself. But as far as 2012 goes and current staffing and current allocations and commitments that we have, that will not be adversely affected.
Thank you so much. County Attorney, do you have any comments?
No, sir.
Upcoming meetings, Tuesday, October the 15th at 6:30 p.m. a regular board meeting, Tuesday, November the 5th at 9 a.m., and Tuesday, November the 19th will be regular board meetings, Thursday, November the 28th, Friday, November 29th. All county offices will be closed in observance of the Thanksgiving holidays. We have a need to go into executive session for the purpose of property acquisition, property disposition, litigation, and personal matters. If somebody would move to adjourn into executive session.
So moved.
We have a motion from District 3, second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So moved. We are now adjourned into executive session. Okay, 1, 2, 3, Bo. We gotta wait for Bo. I'm showing a quorum with the, someone moved to reconvene in public session.
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Does somebody move to approve an affidavit and resolution pertaining to executive session?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Somebody move to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a motion from District 3. Second from District 2. Any further discussion? All approved? Raise your right hand. Meeting's over. Thank you.